Good morning, fourth graders. I wanted to show you that I'm not in the classroom right now. I'm actually hanging out with my cats in our apartment, and they are going to help me with your LA lesson today. So this right here is Bingsu, the big fat one, and the one with the little ears is Muck. So Bingsu and Muck are right next to me as I'm doing your LA lesson today. Okay, I don't want you to be worried. I'm not sick. Everything's fine. But since students aren't at school right now, teachers can do some of their video lessons at home. So I've chosen to do some of my video lessons at home, mostly because I just wanted you guys to see the cats. And they're so helpful in planning your lessons, and they're much more helpful than Tong Tong. So anyway, I just wanted you guys to see them, and let's get started on our lesson today. Okay. Now, your materials for class, you are going to need your LA notebook. So get your LA writing notebook. You also are going to need your workbook and your workshop and your homework papers. Now, if you've forgotten what your homework papers look like, I can show you. You need your spelling phonics, your grammar, and your skills. So all of these papers are in one place. Remember this one? I sent this home with you. So it's this front and back paper. So please get that paper. And if you haven't done these yet, you need to stop the lesson because you should have done these on Tuesday or on Wednesday because you didn't have an LA lesson on Wednesday. So if these papers are not finished, you need to stop the video right now and go do them because we're about to go over our homework. We're going to check our homework. We're going to do a warm-up activity in your workbook. And then we're going to have a lesson on synonyms and we're going to talk about homework for Thursday. So go make sure that you have this paper complete and we'll get started. Now, these are the answers for your spelling and phonics. As you can see, pink, green, blue, red, and orange are the only colors you should have used. And you are identifying, excuse me, identifying short A, I, O, U, and other. So most of the other sounds are the short E, shelf, bell, wealth, left, and then gem is kind of a other sound because it has the Y. Here are the answers for your skills and grammar worksheets. Make sure that you guys are checking your spelling. I've seen you turn in a lot of things, and even when you're copying me, you're making spelling mistakes. You have a lot of time to work on these assignments, so make sure, take your time, be careful, be intentional, and copy carefully, please. Also, with your grammar, you should have added punctuation. So we have a statement, a question, and a command. Let's keep going. All right, now we've arrived at our warm-up. So before we get started on today's lesson, I want to go over something in your workbook, and we need to warm up our minds, just like how you warm up your muscles before you do PE class. So what I want you to do is get your workbook. And if you want to, you can get a nice cup of hot cocoa or tea for your warm up, because it is a warm up after all, and it's been kind of cold outside lately, and you can have a nice hot drink. Get your workbook, practice page 2 through 5. And let's look at this together. So I have my workbook right here. Now, the first thing you need to do is read the story on page 3 and 4. That's your first thing. Then I want you to look at page 2 and fill out the graphic organizer. Now, something that's very important is a lot of you guys are writing too much in your graphic organizers. You're not summarizing. So I'm looking at mine right now. I wrote 2 sentences for beginning, middle, and end. So I want to challenge you to write 2 sentences in beginning and middle and end. So 2 sentences each. Okay? So go ahead, read the story, read it carefully, and do page 2. We will do page 5 together. So you don't need to do page 5 without me. Do page 2 by yourself, and then we're going to check. So this is our warm-up. Go ahead and get started. Make sure and pause your video right now. Okay, you should have read your story very carefully, maybe even read it twice. You should have filled out the graphic organizer on page 2, and now we are going to talk about the answers. Because this is a warm-up, this should be easy. We've already done this a few times for 2 different stories. Okay, so our characters in the story are a boy who doesn't have a name, a grandmother, and Coyote. Now, in this fairy tale, because this is a fairy tale, the coyote's name is Coyote. Now, coyote is actually a kind of wild animal. So it's kind of like, instead of calling my pets the cats, I would just name them Cat. So Coyote's name is Coyote, which is why it is a capital C in your story. So these are the characters, the most important characters. I know there's a blue jay, but it's not really important character. Okay, the setting is on grandmother's farm. We can see in the very first paragraph that the boy was eating lunch in a field on his grandmother's farm. He had been exploring the farm all morning, and the grandmother had said, "Don't wander into the woods, but just stay in the field." So we can assume that all of this is part of her farm. If you also wrote woods, that's okay. Okay, 2-sentence challenge. I hope you didn't write too much. The beginning of the story, the boy wanted to listen to the blue jay, and he met a hungry coyote. Now, there's a lot of right answers. There's a lot of different things you could have said, but you shouldn't have written more than 2 sentences, and it needs to be what happened that at the very beginning of the story. Okay, next. In the middle of the story, the coyote tries to trick the boy to give away the bread, and then the boy ignores his grandmother's warning and follows Coyote into the woods. Okay, that happens in the middle. Now, the very end, 2 sentences, Coyote tricks the boy into giving the bread away, and the boy learns the lesson: don't leave the right path to follow an easier one. At the very end of the story, his grandmother talks to him and says, well, next time, don't do something wrong just because it's easier, and at least you only just lost some bread. So, of course, you could have lots of different sentences that summarize the beginning, middle, and end, but what I wrote down is kind of the main story, and a summary should be the main story. Okay, this was just a warm up. You do not need to turn this in on Dojo. Please don't post a picture. This was just practice. Now, let's look at page 5. So please go to page 5 in your workbook right now. And let's look at number 1. What are 2 events that happen after the boy hears Blue Jay? Well, what I should do is go back to page 3, look at the first paragraph, and see what follows after that. If you look at in your stories, you have these numbers on the side, and that helps us know where to look. Do you see 36? It's a little hard to focus. Right there, 36. As he ate his lunch, he heard the call of a blue jay. I'll follow the sound of Blue Jay. I will find him and see his feathers and listen to his song. I will bring him bread. So for number 1, you could write 1, circle it. He wanted to go listen to the blue jay. That's one event that happened. He decides to go listen to the blue jay, and then he meets a hungry coyote. So maybe those are the 2 main things that happen right after he hears the blue jay. Okay, so you can write down your own answers, make your own sentences, make sure they have punctuation, but you can choose 2 events that happen after he hears the call of the blue jay. Pause your video if you need more time. Okay, number 2, why is the setting of the woods important to the story? Oh, this is a good question. Why is the woods important? Well, first, yes or no, think about this. Is the woods a good place? No. Is the woods a safe place? No, because Grandma tells the boy, if we look at our story again, do not wander into the woods, said Grandmother. So she told him that's not a place you're supposed to go. So, of course, we can kind of assume, we can guess, we can predict that it's not safe or it's not good. But really, all we really know is that the woods are not allowed. He should not go to the woods. So, why does that make the woods important? Well, if there were no woods, would we have a very interesting story? No. The story needs a problem. It needs something to go wrong to be interesting. So, when the boy goes to the woods, it shows he's made a bad choice in the story. And now we have a problem and we have conflict, and our story is interesting. So, write your opinion. Why do you think the woods are important? So, pause your video if you need to and answer question number 2. All right, you can close your workbook for now, and we're going to talk about synonyms. I love teaching about synonyms. I think they're really fun. So if you look at this picture, we have 3 main words: admire, curious, and brave. In the green writing, you have the definition. Let's start with brave. That's a vocabulary word from last year. So brave is a feeling or showing no fear. Wow. And then underneath it, there's some more words. These are synonyms: courageous, intrepid, gutsy. I like gutsy. I think that's a good one. If we look at admire, the synonyms are respect, esteem, regard. For curious, we have inquisitive, interested, and inquiring. A lot of eyes. So a synonym is a word that is close to the same meaning. It's not always exactly the same, and sometimes it depends on the sentence it's in for you to truly understand if it's the same. Okay, now I'm going to show you a funny video that I really liked. So when I was your age, I used to watch a TV show called Sesame Street. And this is a really entertaining video about synonyms and how we can use them when we're speaking in daily life.
My, what a little picture. I would definitely say that is a tiny picture.
Really? I'd say it was itsy bitsy myself. That is an enormous picture. Why, I'd say it was humongous.
Well, I would say it's tremendous. I might even call it stupendous.
You would?
Just look at this. Isn't it fantastic?
No, it isn't. It's terrific.
Fantastic.
Terrific.
Fantastic.
Terrific.
Can't you see that you both agree? What's the reason for this spat?
You like to say things this way, and you like to say things that.
What a shame, it all means the same. There's no need to make a scene.
There are lots of ways to say the very same thing if you know what I mean. So
You say little, and I say itsy.
I say tiny, and you say bitsy. Little, tiny.
Itsy bitsy.
Let's call the whole thing small. You say enormous, and I say tremendous.
I say humongous, and you say stupendous. Enormous, humongous.
Tremendous, stupendous. Let's call the whole thing big.
A ball can be a circle, or a globe, or other sphere. They're all ways of saying what I'm holding here.
So if I say fantastic while you say terrific,
Then I'd say fantastic. To me sounds terrific.
or we see how We agree now.
Whatever we call it's okay.
Let's say we call it a day.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video as much as I did. Now, open your workshop, not your workbook. Open your workshop to page 29 and get your LA writing notebook out on your desk. Now, what you're going to do is at the top of your writing notebook, I want you to write the title, synonyms, just like you see here, and the date. Just like this. Okay? Now, if we look in our book, you can see that there's a page just about synonyms. So you should be on this page right here. Oops. As you read The Dragon Problem, you may have come across a word that you didn't know. Look at the surrounding words and sentences for clues. Sometimes the author uses a synonym, a word that means almost the same thing as the unfamiliar word. So if we look at the text evidence right here, at night he made unique original toys for the children in the village. Unique and original are synonyms. Now it's your turn. So this is where you're going to write something down. I want you first to copy this definition into your book. A word that means almost the same thing as another word. Pause your video now and write this down. Okay, I hope you've written it down. Now, please copy these three words from your book. Rippling, alarm, and massive. Copy those three words now. Now let's look at our instructions for your turn at the bottom of the page. Look for synonyms to find the meanings of the following words in the dragon problem. So let's start with rippling. Go to page 23. You're going to find the word rippling on this page and see if you can find in the same sentence or nearby sentence what is the synonym in the story for rippling. You are going to do this for alarm and massive as well, and then come back to this video and check your work. You should only find one synonym. Pause your video and do this now. Welcome back. I hope you have your answers ready. Let's check. Another word for rippling is moving. A synonym for alarm is scare. And a synonym for massive is huge. I hope you got those right. Okay. That's it. That's all we're going to do today. So let's talk about homework. Nothing, zero, zilch. So I use synonyms to tell you that you have nothing for homework tonight because we did a lot in today's lesson. I hope you did your best, and our warm-up tomorrow is going to be about synonyms. So if you're having some trouble with synonyms or you don't understand the meaning, I want you to get a dictionary and practice looking up synonyms, maybe for your vocabulary words tonight. Read the story again, see if you can find synonyms, and there's some great YouTube videos about synonyms that you can watch. So I hope you did well on today's lesson, and I will see you tomorrow for our last LA lesson of the week, Friday. Okay, do you want to say goodbye to the cats? Oh, Bingsu's being so sweet. Oh, she stopped because I made a funny noise. She was giving him kisses. Anyway, the cats say bye, and we will see you. Oh, there she goes. Oh, what a sweet kitty. Okay, we'll see you guys tomorrow for our LA lesson. Bye.